Hey everybody, welcome to day 2, Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Edmonton, Canada. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels, go longer, Quintana, HOKA on a Form, Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Premium Plus Sports, and of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation, our next guest. She's number 3 in the world, but I think she's number 1. Laura Philipp joins us. How you doing, Laura?
Thanks so much for having me, Bob, and hello everyone watching. Yeah, it's great to be here, and looking forward to speak to you.
I was so excited to be possibly chatting with you in St. George, and then, was it COVID?
Yes, it was COVID. And actually on the day, we were just on the way to the airport and I felt really strange and sick. And I decided to do a spontaneous rapid antigen test. And that turned out positive, like straight away. And I was like, no, this can't be possible because, of course, I was like super careful in the leading weeks, and
staying
I was
away
aware.
From everybody.
Exactly, I was actually like living in isolation, and I have no idea where I caught it from.
Right.
So that was a real bummer. And in the beginning, I was still hoping that, I will only feel sick for like 2-3 days and then I'm fine again. And because that was still like close to 2 weeks out of the race. So I still thought like there's a chance that I just go there later. But I think I stayed positive for more than 8 days. God. At some point I was just running out of time. And then I also felt really sick, like even though I went back into some kind of movement, my heart rate went crazy and I had like some really deep pain in my chest or lung. So I was actually very worried because I didn't know like how long it will have an impact because it's so different like for everyone.
Everybody is so different.
So that was a bit scary. And but I kept on being positive. Of course, I watched the race. It was very hard. It looked like a super, super cool course and a great chance to have a world championship on another course. That was really something I was excited about. But it is like it was. So
can't do anything about it.
I always believe like there's some reason behind everything. I don't know the reason yet why I had to miss out, but at least I'm back racing and I'm feeling a lot better now. So I think I left like all the COVID stuff behind me. So that's a big win.
Great. Well, and like you said, you can't do anything about certain things. When COVID was happening, you guys created a new business.
Yeah, exactly. So it was actually in the beginning of 2020, I think, where we just thought like, we don't know how long this pandemic will go. And there were no races on the horizon. So basically my kind of business went down, right? So we thought we always had like this dream of coming up with a company to also pass on our knowledge and train age group athletes. So that's why we founded Kick-Ass Sports, our training company. Yeah, and it's great fun so far to educate other people. We also do like classes, where we teach how to run, how to ride your bike, or how to swim, because this is like, I think one of the biggest things we take care of, like developing technique, not only doing like the training sessions, but taking care of how people are actually doing swimming, biking, and running. And I think that's one big reason to stay healthy, to be fast, and all this kind of that's what Kick-Ass is for me, like having fun, being fast, staying healthy. And I think if you stick to this, then you will be successful in what you're doing.
Exactly. And I notice your tattoo. And it's in a perfect place for while you're riding. You can be looking at that.
Exactly.
And is that why you put it there?
Yeah, kind of. I like it. It's just like a power symbol for me. And it keeps reminding me on how powerful I can be if, I stay focused within myself and believe in myself. Yeah, so there's not like the deepest meaning behind it, but it's just something I like to be reminded of.
You draw on that during the race. When you get to tough parts, you look down.
Yeah, especially in the aero position.
Exactly. I am powerful. So speaking of powerful, Ironman Hamburg. I mean, that was a sort of a, this is the shape I was in for St. George, right? Where you swim 54:38, 4:31 bike, 2:45 marathon, 8:18:20, one of the fastest times in history. Just behind Chrissy's at Roth, something like that. Yeah. So the sub 8 was great, but that's different, right? You're doing it with other people. this was...
So actually it was funny that it was on the same day as the sub 7, sub 8. Like, of course, this was not planned from my side.
Right.
I just looked for a nice racing opportunity, and missing out the Worlds, I thought, what's the next big event? It's obviously the European Championships for a European athlete. So that's why I decided to race Ironman Hamburg. And yeah, it was quite funny that the splits were quite similar. Of course, except of the bike, where I didn't have any paces. Yeah, but I don't think, like, overall you can't really compare the two events. But it was just funny that it was on the same day, and people, of course, started to talk about it. But yeah, for me, Ironman Hamburg was a really, really great day. It was definitely a relief to feel that I'm healthy and I can push, because that was what I was really struggling with, like, after COVID. So I was so unsure how I will feel in a race, and to feel great, it was just like an extra motivation. To be honest, I had no idea about the overall timing. I didn't know my swim time. Of course, I saw my bike split on the bike computer, but on the run, I always mainly run by feel.
Right.
And I saw in Philipp, my husband and coach's face on the side, he was a bit worried because I started quite fast. So I think the first half marathon was 1:20. And but I felt great. And I know from the past that, you know, I can rely on my feeling. Of course, you slow down a little bit on the second half, but I guess in most races, this is mainly because of the multiple laps you're running, and it's get more crowded, and it's just harder to run like the perfect line, and also on 8 stations you have to slow down and stuff. So at the end people started to tell me, like, you're on world record pace, and I always thought, like, they must be wrong, this can't be possible, because Hamburg, of course, I looked up like old results from the course to get a feeling on if it's fast or slow or what would be a good time, and I thought like 8:40 would be a good time. So yeah, I was really surprised.
8:18. I mean, that's an epic time. And when I'm looking back, like in 2017, you had 4 wins, 18 undefeated, right? Barcelona, Rügen, Zelensee, everything. So was there a point where all of a sudden you just made a quantum leap, and just all of a sudden you just realized, I seriously can be the best in the world here?
So 2018 was special because I think I did like many 70.3 races. I was like focusing on 70.3 distance over the last years. And then I did my first long distance in 2018 in Barcelona. And I won it, and I had a very good race there as well. And that gave me like the confidence, okay, I think I'm good in this Ironman thing.
Yes, you are.
And then 2019, I had my first, it was my second long distance in Kona.
Yes.
I didn't have the perfect lead up. I was injured and I had like nearly no running. So the race was quite challenging for me, but it was still a very good experience just to, do the race for future experiences on the island. So I'm very grateful I was able to race in Kona 2019, and then obviously
4th, right?
I got 4th,
Yes.
That was good.
And your splits there were pretty awesome in 19 when you did Kona.
My swim was...
your swim wasn't great, 59, right? But 4:45, 3:02, which you're obviously a lot faster than that, but 8:51:42 first time out. Yeah. Pretty impressive.
I was actually very surprised, especially also because of the run time. Like, I think I ran from May to the race in October. I ran 250K in total. Yeah, so that's like injuries. Nothing. Yeah, well, I just started very close to the race to start running. The marathon was very painful. I wish I would have run a sub 3. That's always my goal, right? But it was not possible on the day. But this year we return to the island, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and look at, so you'll have Annie there. You'll have Daniela there, and Daniela obviously is back to being Daniela. And it's funny, I was interviewing Daniela, and everybody was like counting her out. She's history, and I'm like, Daniela, you realize you've done like 40 races over the last, since 2000 and whatever, and you've won 34 of them, right?
Well, you know, I
Something like
raced
that.
Daniela in the beginning of the year at the 70.3 Dubai.
Yes.
And there I really, I experienced how strong she is. You know, this
Yes.
was a really tough swim and bike ride.
Yes.
And then I was able to
it.
run faster than her. So that was an amazing experience for me, also mentally, you know, to know, you know, everyone is beatable. And
Yes.
I really believed, I knew she would have a great performance in St. George. And
Yes.
seeing her win was quite cool.
Well, you want that. You want to beat the best, right?
Absolutely.
She's 5-time Ironman world champion, and
Yes.
it makes your win that much better when you knock off the very best person on their very best day.
Absolutely. And we don't get the chance to race stacked fields very often,
No.
right? So I missed St. George.
Yes.
And now I'm here.
See, and look at this. This is the biggest prize purse, I think, in the history of this country. $1 million prize purse here in Canada. And it goes, you know, 100,000 for first. I mean, people can turn their career around by winning this race.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's why you're here.
Yes, and I just think the whole PTO tour is a great chance to race the best more frequently.
Yes.
And yeah, that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. Talking about the long distances,
Yes.
I feel like I really got better in racing Ironman from every race I did.
Right.
So
well, you still haven't
Hamburg
done
was
that
my
many.
fifth.
Yeah, I was going to say, like you've done 4 or 5 total. Yeah.
So by now, I would say I'm a long course specialist now.
But you're still very competitive at the shorter distance at 70.3 because you can't lose your speed. In this day and age, you can't be just I'm just going to go long. You can't do that.
True.
Especially with all these ITU athletes coming
especially for me personally, I came into the sport so late. I learned to swim at 24 and I have no background in any of the 3 sports. So for me, it's very important to still do fast stuff to develop my engine and just my motoric abilities. And I think it's always easier to go long than to go fast.
Right.
So coming here, this is quite challenging for me.
Well, this is even less than a 70.3, right?
It is. It's not to my favor.
Right.
I would prefer to have a longer bike and a longer run, of course.
Right.
But I think it's a great challenge, and that's what I'm really looking forward to, and that's why I'm here. I think it's so great to have the PTO tour and to have a different race format, and also to have the mixture of athletes coming from short course. Then I do think we have some real strong mid-distance specialists like Holly, Paula, Emma, and it's. I think there are not so many long course athletes actually, so I'm one of the only few.
Well, and this course is really more of an ITU type of course with 3-loop swim and multiple loop bike and run. It's in the have you been on the bike course?
I did. Yeah.
What'd you think?
Yeah, I really like it. So I think it's more like a European bike course.
Yes.
And of course, this
bike
is something.
And
you have climbs, descents, some corners, and you can never lose concentration. And I think it's quite exciting, and it will be very fun to watch.
Yes, it will.
But it will get tough, over 4 laps. You have 3 climbs each lap.
Yeah.
They're not I expected them to be steeper. So I think even some you have to ride in air position.
Right.
So in the beginning, I was not sure is a road bike a good decision or a TT bike. But having seen and ridden it now, I'm very sure a TT bike is faster. And so.
Well, what's nice is with the 20-meter draft too, you can get away on a climb, and then people can't get back, right? Because they can't get within. So it behooves people to try to get away.
Yeah, this is actually something I'm really looking forward to. I only experienced the 20-meter draft rule in Daytona.
Yes.
And Daytona was a very special race. I think you can't compare it to this race. So, of course, for me as a strong cyclist and a weaker swimmer, this is hopefully my chance to make some ground on the bike. I know 20 meter is a long way, so I will try to get a good feeling for it.
Yes.
So we're not making any mistakes there. But this is definitely great to have a pro race only. This is something very special for a long course athlete.
Yep.
So there are not so many athletes on the course.
Right.
And we have the 20-meter draft rule. So I'm really looking forward to a fair and great race.
Well, especially because women race one day, men race the other day.
Exactly. That's another
Real positive.
exciting positive. Yeah.
Love it. Laura, always such a treat to get to see you. Your smile is, you just light up everything.
Thank you.
Have a great race and kick ass.
Thank you very much.
Remember when you want people to yell at you when they go by, like, kick ass.
Yeah, it would be great.
I love it. Laura Philipp has been our guest, everybody. Again, day 2, Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Edmonton, Canada. Hold on. We'll be right back.